Hello, hi, and welcome to my summer highlight reel. I've been collecting footage for you all over the last 4 months, and for myself too, as memories, and I'm excited to show you all what I've been up to. I saw so much of the country and learnt a lot as well, so grab a drink and let's go. The summer kicked off with a trip to the South Island. It was much anticipated because we booked the Routeburn track months ago. So we were really excited. For those who don't know, the Routeburn is a 2-night, 3-day trek, hike, tramp, whatever you want to call it. It crosses from Fiordland into Spiring National Park. And as you can see, it was very wet when we started. We made it to the hut. It's still raining.
It's beautiful as well.
Yes. Ready for another day?
Yay!
I was hiking with my friends Margot and Kayla, and we were just so amazed by the alpine scenery. There was mountains and lakes and so many different types of plants, and it was just a joy to be up there and out of regular life because I have had the busiest year of my life. So it just felt so good to take a second to breathe and enjoy the scenery and this beautiful country that we live in. If you are considering doing the Routeburn, take this as your sign to do so. I'd say, considering other great walks in New Zealand, it's very much low effort, high reward. It's impossible to pick a favourite moment from this walk and the whole Routeburn experience. This whole area just feels like the definition of pristine, and I just feel incredibly grateful that I was able to see it. After Christmas, it was time for the next adventure. You know me, I don't stop. A group of friends and I went and did Abel Tasman, which is another great walk. As you can see, we took the ferry from Wellington to Picton on the South Island to get there, which just blew my mind. I'd never been on the ferry before. And on the way to Nelson, we stopped at a place called Pelorus Bridge. Oh, it's probably one of the best places I've ever swam in New Zealand. The fresh water was just unbelievable. It was crystal clear, and man, we just felt so good in that moment. I kind of brought this group together. My friends Margot, Travis, and Brie and Jess, I know them all from different places, and it was just so much fun. We entered the Abel Tasman National Park via Matahau, which is at the south end, and wow, already the beaches were just stunning, and it was like this for the next 4 days. We did the hike in 3 nights, 4 days, but some people take longer, some people take shorter, but it actually felt like Greece or Croatia. It was hard to believe that we were in New Zealand. The first night was at Anchorage Bay, and the hut there was so beautiful. Unfortunately, I don't have footage, so you'll just have to go see it for yourself. And the other cool thing about Abel Tasman, there's a few little side trips like this waterfall swimming hole spot, which is famous for its slide right here. And it just felt like the ultimate summer hike, really. I'd never spent New Year's in the wilderness before, so it was a refreshing experience. We chatted about the year that had been and what was coming up as well, and then gathered around with a bunch of strangers to bring in the new year.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Happy New Year!
I couldn't think of a better way to start the new year, and it got even better when we found a lodge that served us burgers and fries, and man, that felt so good after a few days of hiking. These animals are called weckers, and we saw so many on trail. They're very friendly but also very cheeky. You can see the hut there in the background. That's where we stayed on our third night. We had heaps of time here, so it was nice to have an outdoor shower and just to hang out in the inlet before continuing onwards to our final day. This beach was the end of the trail for us, so of course we had a celebratory swim before going back to Matterhall. We went back to the start of the trail via the boat, and it was so satisfying to see how far we had come. This is Nicola. She's one of my longest and dearest friends, and her husband Caleb came over to New Zealand to visit me. We did a huge North Island road trip, starting in Wellington. We went to Taupō. You can see the Hooker Falls here. And then we journeyed up to Northland. We made a few stops along the way, including to the Blue Springs, which is one of the most underrated spots I've seen in this country.
And we're out in the perfect weather. I just wanna run away with you.
We spent a lot of time in the car driving during this road trip. This particular day, I think we were driving for 8 hours, but it doesn't even matter when you have good company. One of our first stops in Northland was the Waitangi Treaty Grounds. Unfortunately, I don't have more footage, but it is a super powerful and important place that I think every Kiwi should go to. Keen for a sail?
So keen.
Nicola, Caleb and I stayed in Paihia in Northland for 3 nights, which is also the gateway to the Bay of Islands. So, of course, naturally, we had to hop on a tour on a catamaran and go see some of the islands. And as you can see here, it was beautiful. The weather was up and down, but we still had an amazing time. We went out with Barefoot Adventures, parked up on one of the islands, and we got to explore, and we went paddleboarding and swimming, and it was just a really great day out. This iconic little town, Nicola, is called Russell, and it actually used to be New Zealand's capital city back in the 1800s when it was a major trading port, and now it's a playground for the wealthy, and it is beautiful here. We had a great time. We went to the Duke of Marlborough Hotel, the oldest hotel in New Zealand, and just enjoyed the seaside, ate some fish and chips, all that good stuff. We said goodbye to Paihia and drove down south to Auckland. We made a few stops along the way, including Tane Mahuta, the biggest kauri tree in New Zealand. It was a spiritual experience. And then we also went to Kaiiwi Lakes. I'd love to camp here one day.
Falling to pieces in my room.
And here we are in the big smoke up the top of the Sky Tower. We picked up another friend, Sam, and I took the Aussies out to the western beaches, of course, to see the black sand before going to the Coromandel and showing them all the best white sand beaches. As many of you know, the Coromandel is a really special place for me. I have lived here before, and we have our family batch here. And Nicola's been hearing about this place since she was 4 years old. So as you can imagine, it was so special to show them around to some of my favorite spots. And we just had an epic time together.
I come up with nothing. Maybe we can talk until we figure out a topic. Been so long.
After I said goodbye to the Aussies, I was able to bring my Wellington friends up to the Coromandel. It was a great few days. We didn't do much more than hanging out at the beaches, eating ice cream, eating pizza, admiring the views, and just enjoying each other's company.
I'll be dancing on the lawn when it happens.
In between all of these trips, I was still working and doing summer school in Wellington, but thankfully the city comes alive in summer. It is such a fun place to be, so many people coming to visit and heaps of events on.
Wrote you a letter, sent a message to the that day. Skip to the present, have you been so happy ever?
That will never be right.
Now, one thing I haven't told you yet is that during all these summer activities, I was actually training for a half marathon, and the day finally arrived. I just ran a half marathon. It was hard, one of the hardest things I've done, but I sprinted to the finish and I did it, and I'm stoked. Like I said at the start, this video was just a highlight reel. Off camera, there were some challenging things happening in my life, but it helped me grow my faith and find my worth in God alone. I'm so thankful for supportive friends and family and a really, really fun summer. So thank you for watching. I hope you feel inspired and encouraged to go on your own adventures, and I'll see you next time.